there's really only two emotions. There's love and fear.
That's it.
Love and fear, right?
It's the truth.
I grew up fearful. I grew up in a very dangerous world. Everything about my life was dangerous. Every minute of my life was danger. And I responded with anger. That's how I channeled. That's how I dealt with my fear, was through anger.
Yeah.
And I did it through physically aggressive anger because I was a big, strong guy, and that's how it worked best for me, right? At some point in my life, I realized that there's only two emotions, love and fear, right?
Yeah.
And I decided that being fearful was weak.
Huh.
And that I didn't want to live in fear, because what the hell do I have to be afraid of, right? I've lived longer than I ever expected to live. I've made more money than I ever thought I'd ever make. I've more relationships, more success, more influence, more love, more happiness in my life than I ever thought possible. So what the hell am I going to be afraid of? Like, I could die right now. Right now. I'm not joking. I could die this moment. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, all right, that's what the ride was. Like, I'm happy with everything that's gone on with my life. And I'm happy that there's a tomorrow, if there's a tomorrow. And if there's a next year, if there's a next decade, awesome. I want it. I don't want to go. I'm willing to go, like whatever. I feel like fear is all the only thing that fear has ever done for me is take me out of enjoying the moment that I'm in. And whether I'm expressing that as anger or actually living it as fear doesn't really matter. I don't think the past is important. I don't know where it is. I can't find it. It's some imagination in here. Mm-hmm. I don't think the future is all that important, because I don't know where that is either. Right? It's like I have relationships and things that matter to me that I want to nourish, and I'm going to nourish those and work on those today. And that's 100% love. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that's there. Like, why do I spend 70% of my time giving it away to Navy SEALs? Because I love those guys. Those are my brothers, right? Why do I take care of myself? Because I love myself. I love my body. I take care of myself for my wife too, right? Because mm-hmm. I want her to have a husband she's proud of, right? Because I love her, right? And so everything that matters to me is being driven by love.
Yeah.
And my wife and I actually had this I don't know if you call it running joke. It's a behavioral patterning, behavioral modification technique. Anytime I get angry, she goes, beta, beta male, right?
Sure.
Like, you're like
you're in fear.
Like that's weak. Because the anger is fear. She knows the anger is fear.
Yeah.
I know the anger is fear. It's like, what are you afraid of? Like, and what do you get angry at? Like, what do people typically get angry? Stupid stuff like traffic, right? The guy cut me off. And, right, has that never happened before? Is that not going to happen 3,000 more times? Why are you going to allow yourself to get into that anger spot, right? It's because you're afraid, right? It's a fear. It's like, well, you cut me off. This could have happened. I was driving down this wavy 2-lane road the other day, two clowns coming in pickup trucks the other way, chasing each other around or something, come all the way over in my lane. I have all four wheels off the road. He's so far in my lane, his side mirror hits my side mirror. And man, did I want to turn around and chase that guy down. And, but that lasted like a second, maybe 2 seconds. I seriously considered it for 2 seconds. I'm like, all right, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I just went about my way. And you know what? 30 seconds later, I'd so forgotten about it that I didn't mention it to my wife until the next day when we were driving down the road. And I was like, oh, I was driving down here yesterday, right? Because all that was fear. Like, I was afraid that dude almost killed me, like, right? But where was the growth and where was the opportunity for anything in that? Like, there was nothing. Like, that happened, and it happened, and I didn't die, and keep going.
Do you believe in a higher power that's guided you along this journey?
Yeah.
And how does that...
In spite of me.
How does that higher power guide you now from a place of love and care, which is still powerful, by the way, compared to the fear that used to drive you?
I get up... So I... I wouldn't say I have super, like, highly educated or profound religious beliefs, but but I have sincere religious beliefs. And I do believe that, that God exists. I don't know what I think that is, other than everything, right? It's everything.
At least we know that.
Right. God is everything. God is everything. It's what I do know is it's far beyond my comprehension.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I know for a fact that I cannot plan my way out of a wet paper sack. Like, I'm terrible at that. Yet I still have this remarkably successful life. So how the hell did that happen? I didn't do that, right? It doesn't make any sense that there's some dude with a gray beard and a robe, like moving us around like chess pieces. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What makes sense is that, like, eternity means everything simultaneously, and everything is going on all the time simultaneously, and it's 99.9999% outside of our control. And the only thing we have any control over is how we react to it, right? And I, because of my childhood, I disowned God as a child, because I was like, hey man, I pray to you all the time and you never help me. So
yeah,
I got it. Like, from here on out, right?
Yeah.
And then I ran around saying that I didn't believe in God, which was a lie. I believed in God. I was pissed off at God, and I didn't trust him, and I didn't want to deal with him.
Same.
And then I got a little older. I'm like, okay, well, how can I be pissed off at a guy that I don't believe in? Obviously, right? And so at some point in my life, I just said, hey, like, obviously this higher power has been with me, helping me all along, or I wouldn't be here. Like, I couldn't have done this. 99% of the things I think I want is not the best thing for me. And when I don't get them, it turns out to be far better than anything I could have possibly imagined. Yeah. So I get up every day with again, there's people with all sorts of complex beliefs and prayer structure and all this. And I get up every day. It's just like, help me see the path and give me the courage to follow it. That's it. And the path is however far it is, man. It might be from here to my truck, and it might be from here to California. I don't know. Like, whatever the path is today is what the path is. And nothing else matters, because everything that's important today is going to be on that path. And if it's not on that path today, it's not important today.
Yeah. I love that you can come on this podcast and feel real emotion, because, like, from my training, like, I was in football too. I grew up in East County, San Diego. Yeah. My dad left home super early. I have distinct memories of me saying, fuck you, God. Yeah. You can't fix my mom's bipolar. You can't make life good. Like, but there I was. It was a beautiful reminder. I was yelling at something that I thought didn't exist, but I was still yelling at it. Right. Such a paradox.
Right.
And so it sounds like, and tell me if I'm wrong, there wasn't like one moment where you're on your knees in a cornfield having a spiritual experience. It was this amalgamation of, like, life just pulling you. Is there a memory where you finally just said, okay, enough with the fear, I'm going to go to the love? Or was it more of like a cumulative process?
Actually, it was cumulative, but there was a really big block that the last piece fell into place in a big way. And it was actually when I was, I got asked to evaluate a psilocybin program for one of the foundations that help veterans. And they said, hey, would you go check this out, check the people out, participate if you want to, do as much as you want, but just like, go, let us know what you think about it. And so I went and I participated and it was 2 nights of psilocybin, with a night in between them. And the first night, I keep seeing all these snake things, like the ceiling snakes and the ground snakes, and I actually see snakes. And then I can't remember much of the experience that night. It was mainly just confusion. Like, I really didn't know what to make out of it. But it was kind of confusing. And I think I maybe got a little underdosed. And I talked to some of the facilitators there, and I was like, what's the deal with the snakes? Right. Uh-huh. And they gave me some airy-fairy woo-woo thing about it. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to think about that. So then the next night I decided, probably didn't have a great experience because I didn't have any intention, because I just went in there and just said, well, I'm just going to take this and see what happens. Like, I literally had no goal, no plan whatsoever. So I said, you know what, tonight I'm going to go in with an intention, right? So I sat around and thought about it. I said, I would like to know I kept going into darkness that first night. And when I went into darkness, I felt really confused. And I was like, is my fear losing my intellectual capabilities? Is that my primary fear? Like, and can I control that? Like, is there anything that I can do? Like, can I be in darkness and be happy? Like, could I be in a room full of demons and still be happy? Like, and so I was like, that's going to be my tension. So I said, I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted, what would the world look like if God didn't exist? And is it possible for me to feel happy, for lack of a better word? I don't know if I use the word happy,
or safe.
Yeah. Is it happy? Is it possible for me to not feel fear while being in the darkness? I think kind of was more what it was. And so, I have a couple of like really beautiful memories of my daughter, like when she was a Girl Scout, and I used to take her out selling Girl Scout cookies. And then, there's a couple of pictures of us doing that I focus on her face when I want to like bring myself back to light and love and happiness. Right. And my wife's face too. And then what I realized the second night when I went in there is like, I kept getting pulled into the darkness. And when I got pulled into the darkness, I couldn't see my daughter's face anymore. And I couldn't remember her name, and I couldn't remember my wife's name. I couldn't remember my wife's face. And they kept being these snakes. And then it's the snake thing. And I was like, what the hell is with the snakes? And then all of a sudden I get this like aha feeling moment. And this is like so woo-woo and wacky. I don't think I've never shared this before, but I remember going, this is Satan trying to scare me. And I was like, do you realize I'm not afraid of snakes? Right? Because I think that's what's going on here. I'm not afraid of snakes. You should stop doing that if that's your goal, right? And then I completely worked this up in my mind, and I was 100% convinced that Satan was trying to scare me the whole night. And he kept showing me snakes. And I'm like, I'm not afraid of snakes. And then I was in a room like this size, like buried under snakes. I was like, I'm not afraid of snakes. Like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you, like, why do you keep trying the same thing? And then it was, and then he started saying, oh yeah, but what about this? And he starts showing me all the SEALs that I've worked with or know that have died or been disfigured, lost limbs, like all this other stuff. And he's, what about this? What about this pain? What about this suffering? And like showing me these really ugly things in my life. And I'm like, yeah, but all that worked out. Like he shows me this one guy, this one SEAL who I know who lost both of his legs. First night of his first op of his first platoon, overseas. And I go, yeah, but the last time I saw him, I was with a panel of 6 guys, and we were writing him a letter for Duke Business School after he'd gotten 6 gold medals in the Paralympics, married his physical therapist, and had 3 kids. So that's the best you got, really? That's it? like that's what I'm supposed to be afraid of? And I was there with other SEALs, and then it just occurred to me. I was like, oh, and I pulled up my eye mask and I looked around. And I saw the other SEALs. And I was like, you got nothing on me. And I came out of that night going, everything that Satan tries to scare you with is a lie. Like, and it's childish. I mean, I got to the point, like, I can't remember it all that clearly now how it unfolded, but I got to the point where I was literally just taunting Satan and going, really? Is it like you're like a 3-year-old trying to scare me right now? This is stupid. This is the best you have. And it didn't change. It didn't change my. I don't think it really impacted my belief in God or spirituality, but it changed how I thought about fear, because I thought, like all fear is a lie, really. I mean, like what? Like I can't think of anything that it makes sense to be afraid of, right? Like what if? Like, am I afraid of pain? Like, well, pain's just pain, and it goes away. Am I afraid of death? Like, no, I'm going to die. I'm 100% sure of that. Yeah. Like that's going to happen. So why would I be afraid of that? Like what am I afraid of? Like what out there? What's out there that fear benefits me? like applying fear to it would benefit me. I can't think of a single thing. And so that night was super impactful for that. And ever since then, I've had a lot fewer betas from my wife. Like, you know, and then I came back and I told her that story, and she's like, oh my God, that's perfect. Right. And she's like, yeah, that's perfect. And I think now that, we agree that love and fear are the only emotions, but only love is real. Like fear is a lie. Like fear is always a lie.
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens, no matter what happens, it can be great for you, right? You could say the last thing I want to happen is for the IRS to audit me and take my house away. That would be the worst thing. And then that could literally turn out to be the best thing that's ever happened to you in your life. And you know that, and we all know that. Yeah. So what the hell are we afraid of? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Everything you're afraid of is fake. Like you're afraid, like I have all kinds of friends who are missing limbs and eyes and also like, okay, I used to be afraid of that, but they're like, I know a ton of dudes who do it and have like perfectly healthy, successful, normal lives after that. So why am I afraid of that? Why am I afraid of death? Right? Like I don't know what there is to be afraid of anymore.
Whoa. If you enjoyed that one you just saw, you will love this one on the screen. Click it and enjoy.